Hello, I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're sitting atop Monk Mound in the Cahokia Mound State Park. We are ready for, this is Willie from the Ozarks, I think I might have said that, lesson 183 in A Course in Miracles Workbook for Students. From the original edition, I call upon God's name and on my own. God's name is holy, but no holier than yours. To call upon His name is but to call upon your own. A father gives his son his name and thus identifies the son with him. His brothers share his name, and thus are they united in a bond to which they turn for their identity. Your father's name reminds you who you are, even within a world that does not know, even though you have not remembered it. God's name cannot be heard without response, nor said without an echo in the mind which calls you to remember. Say His name and you invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand and sing to you as they spread out their wings to keep you safe and shelter you from every worldly thought that would intrude upon your holiness. Repeat God's name and all the world responds by laying down illusions. Every dream the world holds dear has suddenly gone by, and where it seemed to stand, you find a star, a miracle of grace. The sick arise, healed of their sickly thoughts. The sick arise, healed of their sickly thoughts. The blind can see, the deaf can hear, the sorrowful cast off their mourning, and the tears of pain are dried as happy laughter comes to bless the world. Repeat the name of God, and little names have lost their meaning. No temptation but becomes a nameless and unwanted thing before God's name. Repeat His name and see how easily you will forget the names of all the gods you value. They have lost the name of God you gave them. They become anonymous and valueless to you. Although before you let the name of God replace their little names, you stood before them worshipfully, naming them as gods. Repeat the name of God and call upon yourself, whose name is His. Repeat the name of God and call upon yourself, whose name is His. Repeat His name and all the tiny nameless things on earth slip into right perspective. Those who call upon the name of God cannot mistake the nameless for the name, nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the Holy Son of God. And should you join a brother as you sit with him in silence and repeat God's name along with him within your quiet minds, you have established there an altar which reaches to God Himself and to His Son. Practice but this today. Repeat God's name slowly, again and still again. Become oblivious to every name but His. Hear nothing else. Let all your thoughts become anchored on this. No other words we use except at the beginning, when we say today's idea but once. And then God's name becomes our only thought, our only word, the only thing that occupies our minds, the only wish we have, the only sound with any meaning, the only name of everything that we desire to see, of everything that we would call our own. I call upon God's name and on my own. Thus do we give an invitation which can never be refused, and God will come and answer it Himself. Think not He hears the little prayers of those who call on Him with names of idols cherished by the world. They cannot reach Him thus. He cannot hear requests that He be not Himself, or that His Son receive another name than His. Repeat His name, and you acknowledge Him as sole creator of reality. And you acknowledge also that His Son is part of Him, creating in His name. Sit silently, and let his name become the all-encompassing idea which holds your mind completely. Sit silently. And let his name become the all-encompassing idea which holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one, and to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all that there will be. Let's read that paragraph again. Repeat his name and you acknowledge him as sole creator of reality. And you acknowledge also that his Son is part of him. Creating in his name, sit silently and let his name become the all-encompassing idea which holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one, and to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all there will be. Today you can achieve a state in which you will experience the gift of grace. You can escape all bondage of the world and give the world the same release you found. You can remember what the world forgot and offer it your own remembering. You can accept today the part you play in its salvation, and your own as well, and both can be accomplished perfectly. Turn to the name of God for your release, and it is given you. No prayer but this is necessary, for it holds them all within it. Words are insignificant, and all requests unneeded when God's Son calls on his Father's name. His Father's thoughts become his own. He makes his claim to all his Father gave, is giving still and will forever give. He calls on him to let all things he thought he made be nameless now, and in their place the holy name of God becomes his judgment of their worthlessness. All little things are silent, little sounds are soundless now. The little things of earth have disappeared. The universe consists of nothing but the Son of God who calls upon his Father. And his Father's voice gives answer in his Father's holy name. In this eternal, still relationship, in which communication far transcends all words, and yet exceeds in depth and height whatever words could possibly convey, is peace eternal. In our Father's name, we would experience this peace today, and in his name, it shall be given us. I call upon God's name and on my own. Well, as the sun was setting, I got that read. Let's go take a look in our text reading. And we're ready for Reason and Correction, section 7 in chapter 21, the inner picture. And if you'd like to turn there and read along with me, as you're turning there, let me tell you about a Baker Creek Heirloom seed called the Oaxacan Green, Oaxacan Green. 85 to 100 days, the stunningly beautiful ears come in a range of greens from yellow green through emerald, with every imaginable shade in between. The deeply dented kernels have been used for centuries by the Zapotec people to make a regional favorite green flour tamale. Also makes excellent cornbread. The 6 to 10 inch ears are superb in arrangements and for fall decorations. Plants reach 7 feet, are very drought tolerant, and perform well at higher latitudes. That's the Oaxacan Green Heirloom corn. And I've wanted to come up here and share this place with y'all. Jessica and I are on our way, and we decided to stop here and have a sunset little dinner, and I thought, well, there's where I want to do my recording. I'm a few days ahead now, and I'm doing the lessons with you, but I go a few days in advance because I'm finding that it's just taking too long to get my uploads going. And also I'm going to be in some remote areas that I probably won't have any cell phone signal. Okay, so for what that's worth, just kind of let you know, I'm on the top of this sacred mountain. It's the tallest man-made structure in North America at the time that Columbus came here, and it was made by people. They understand it to be made by people, many people, over a long period, carrying basketfuls of dirt and putting it up. Anyway, the skyline in the background, I can show you just a little bit. I don't know if you can see it over there or not. Anyway, St. Louis is back over in the background. I had it here so you could see the sunset. I just thought that was a nice opportunity. Okay, reason and correction. Reason cannot see sin, but can see errors and leads to their correction. It does not value them, but their correction. Reason cannot see sin, but can see errors and leads to their correction. It does not value them, but their correction. Reason will also tell you when you think you sin. You call for help. Reason will also tell you when you think you sin, you call for help. Yet if you will not accept the help you call for, you will not believe that it is yours to give. And so you will not give it, thus maintaining the belief. For uncorrected error of any kind deceives you about the power that is in you to make correction. If it can correct and you allow it not to do so, you deny it to yourself and to your brother. And if he shares this same belief, you both will think that you are damned. This you could spare him and yourself, for reason would not make way for correction in you alone. Isn't that nice to know? Let's put that out of the way. Correction cannot be accepted or refused by you without your brothers. Correction cannot be accepted or refused by you without your brother. Sin would maintain it can, yet reason tells you that you cannot see your brother or yourself as sinful and still perceive the other innocent, who looks upon himself as guilty and sees a sinless world. And who can see a sinful world and look upon himself apart from it? Sin would maintain you must be separate, but reason tells you that this must be wrong. If you are joined, how could it be that you have private thoughts? If you are joined, how could it be that you have private thoughts? And how could thoughts that enter into what but seems like yours alone have no effect at all on what is yours? If minds are joined, this is impossible. No one can think but for himself, as God thinks not without his Son. No one can think but for himself, as God thinks not without his Son. Only were both in bodies could this be, nor could one mind think only for itself unless the body were the mind. For only bodies can be separate and therefore unreal. The home of madness cannot be the home of reason. The home of madness cannot be the home of reason. Yet it is easy to leave the home of madness if you see reason. You do not leave insanity by going somewhere else. You leave it simply by accepting reason, where madness was. Madness and reason see the same things, but it is certain they look upon them differently. Paragraph 62. Madness is an attack on reason that drives it out of mind and takes its place. Madness is an attack on reason that drives it out of mind and takes reason's place. Reason does not attack, but takes the place of madness quietly, replacing madness if it be the will of the insane to listen to it. Reason does not attack, but takes the place of madness quietly, replacing madness if it be the will of the insane to listen to it. But the insane know not their will, for they believe they see the body and let their madness tell them it is real. Reason would be incapable of this, and if you would defend the body against your reason, you will not understand the body or yourself. 63. The body does not separate you from your brother, and if you think it does, you are insane. The body does not separate you from your brother, and if you think it does, you are insane. But madness has a purpose and believes it also has the means to make its purpose real. To see the body as a barrier between what reason tells you must be joined must be insane. To see the body as a barrier between what reason tells you must be joined must be insane. Nor could you see it if you heard the voice of reason. What can there be that stands between what is continuous? And if there is nothing in between, how can what enters part be kept away from other parts? Reason would tell you this, but think what you must recognize if it be so. 64. I think this will be the last paragraph for today. If you choose sin instead of healing, you would condemn the Son of God to what can never be corrected. If you choose sin instead of healing, you would condemn the Son of God to what can never be corrected. You tell him by your choice that he is damned, separate from you and from his Father forever, and without a hope of safe return. You teach him this, and you will learn of him exactly what you taught. For you can teach him only that he is as you would have him, and what you choose to be is but your choice for you. Let's read that again. For you can teach him only that he is as you would have him, and what you choose he be is but your choice for him. Yet think not this is fearful. That you are joined to him is but a fact. That you are joined to him is but a fact, not an interpretation. How can a fact be fearful unless it disagrees with what you hold more dear than truth? Reason will tell you that this fact is your release. Neither your brother nor yourself can be attacked alone, but neither can accept a miracle instead without the other being blessed by it and healed of pain. Wow, you talk about us all being in this together. How can a fact be fearful unless it disagrees with what you hold more dear than truth? Reason will tell you that this fact is your release. Neither your brother nor yourself can be attacked alone, but neither can accept a miracle instead without the other being blessed by it and healed of pain. How many times I've said we're all in this together. When you release your brother, you release yourself. We've got to see our holiness in each other. Okay, well, and until tomorrow, be sure to do your 2 longer extended periods, morning and evening meditation, and of at least 5 minutes. And then throughout the day, as the hour chimes, tell yourself, I call upon God's name and on my own. And then take a moment to let everything but God be in your mind. God's name, he says. I call upon God's name and on my own. Thank you all so much for joining me up here on the top of Monk Mound, here at the Cahokia Mounds. Until tomorrow, I call upon God's name and on my own.